You can look incredible and still feel like a complete piece of shit because you know you're not living up to your highest self and you're not living in congruence with the man you know you could become and you have to become. A couple years ago, I was away on a little holiday in Wales with me and my best friend and both of our fathers, and it was a very disappointing retreat full of instant pleasure, smoking weed, drinking, and just stuffing our face full of junk food. We didn't have a fulfilling, adventurous time with the lads. No, the entire thing reeked of quiet desperation. I remember one morning I woke up to find my friend pinching his non-existent fat rolls, groaning in disgust with himself. This guy was very ripped at the time, leaner than I was, and yet he was pinching something that didn't exist and just groaning in disgust. Now, at the time I was baffled. I couldn't understand why such a good-looking man had such a poor self-image. I thought that, or maybe it's social media giving us false body standards and, oh, you shouldn't compare yourself to others, but all of that is bullshit. You should compare yourself to others and feel scared about being left behind. That's a good thing if you use it as fuel for your own personal growth. But if you are not living in congruence with the highest version of yourself, no matter what your current point is, if you're not making progress, living in momentum and moving forward, then you're always going to feel like a disgusting, useless sack of shit. You can cheat on your diet, but it's not really cheating your diet. Your diet is not a human who you have a relationship with. You're cheating on yourself, because it doesn't matter what standard you set. If you don't live up to it, you feel absolutely worthless. If you're an obese person and your only standard is that you're going to eat 4,500 calories of McDonald's instead of 6,000 calories of McDonald's, and you live up to it every single day, and you start chipping away and making progress, then you're probably going to feel way better than the guy who's already ripped, but he knows he needs to eat clean whole foods, feel at a constantly high vibration, high energy, mentally sharp throughout the day so that he can conquer his larger goals, and he has one pack of biscuits that makes him wake up with brain fog, inflammation, feeling a bit bloated. There are so many ways you can lie and justify why it's not a bad thing. You can lie to your coach. You don't have to tell him about your slip-ups and your fall-offs. You can pretend that you're being compliant with your plan. You can lie to the internet. You can turn on the camera and pretend to be this ultra-disciplined alpha male. You can lie to everyone around you, but you can't lie to yourself. You know how many promises you're breaking, how many tiny little micro commitments you're shitting all over, and that's always going to show up in how you interact with others. Because the promises you break to yourself when no one's watching is exactly the kind of energy and the level of conviction and certainty that you'll show up with when you're around others. When I was doing my bodybuilding prep last year, I had a day that felt like hell, where I woke up after about 2 hours of sleep that I didn't get because the night before I had learned that my grandfather had passed away. And while I was sad, I didn't really know him well enough to be truly devastated. I was mainly upset for my poor mother. And honestly, I was a bit sad about why I didn't feel more sad, you know. But I was up tossing and turning, overthinking. And so the next day I woke up and I had a very long day of work. 2 jobs, about 18 hours worth of actual labour. And at about 3 p.m, when the day was halfway done, I started getting overwhelmed. I was deeply hungry, depleted, on prep, very, very ripped. My mind was a scattered mess, and I had about 200 deliveries left to do that day at around 3 p.m. So I was like, fuck, what have I signed up for? How the fuck am I going to get this done? Am I going to tap out? And am I going to call in sick? Or am I going to just give up, run home with my tail between my legs? But no, I reached a flow state where I started to transcend from all of the bullshit that was going through my mind, just getting into action, not allowing the negative thoughts in, but rather just being in the moment, transcending the exhaustion, the hunger. And I started to feel like a bit of a G. I started feeling like I could transcend any problem. And by the time 10 p.m. rolled round, I was in a real flow state. I was tired, but I had energy. It was a weird sensation. I just felt like him because I had conquered so many mental barriers that day and come out stronger. But this is when I made the cardinal sin of celebrating too early, thinking I'd won before I'd won. That night, when I got home around midnight, I went crazy. I ravaged my cupboards like an unstoppable beast who'd been starving for months. Sweet, savoury, salty, bitter, nothing was safe. No matter how ultra-processed, no matter how incongruent that food was with my diet philosophy, it was going down my throat. And I felt like I couldn't stop myself. Straight afterwards, I had that immediate, fuck, what have I done? Deep regret, pain, guilt, shame. I went to bed and I almost sabotaged myself even further by having a little wank and releasing my seed all over my bed sheets, a habit that I had not done for a long, long time. I ended up catching myself and realizing, no, just because I fucked up doesn't mean I have to turn a slip up into a landslide and go down the deep end even further into mental hell. But I woke up the next day and I didn't feel that good about myself naturally, because again, it was another night of sleep deprivation in a row, 4 hours of sleep yet again, which, as an aside, is not good for your willpower and your discipline to be sleep deprived, but that just means that it's even more of a test that you have to overcome. Point being, I actually woke up, looked in the mirror, and my physique looked better because I had been depleting myself all week, and that massive food binge just made me blow up in size, release some intramuscular water, and just look more full while still being ripped. Just because I looked better, though, doesn't mean I felt better, because I lost the ultimate mental battle. I had stacked so many mental wins throughout the day, just going through the process, no matter how shit I felt. But I lost it all when I got home at the end of the day. And this mental battle that I lost, it bled into every other area of my life that I didn't think so at the time because I just got right back on track. However, it's not just about the physique. It's about the standard that you hold yourself to. It doesn't matter if you look around at the world and you're better than the average man. It doesn't even matter if you're better than the above average man. It matters if you're better than who you were yesterday and how aligned you are with the man you know you have to become. Every time you fall off, every time you cheat on your diet and you reset your progress, not physically, because your physique results are way more about your long-term trends rather than the day-to-days. But that doesn't matter because it's not about just the body, it's about who you are, what mental frame you hold yourself with, and how you show up in the world, what level of conviction you speak with, how present and certain you are. And it takes so much energy to fall off and then have to restart again. Picture yourself driving, you stop at a junction and you stall your car. You then have to reset the engine, start it up again. That takes a lot of fuel, and then you have to accelerate back up to the speed you were going before. That takes way more fuel than just cruising along at the same speed on the motorway. So every single time you cheat on your diet, no matter how good of a physique you currently have, and even though the binge was negligible in terms of your long-term progress, you're using all that much more fuel to get back on track and stay disciplined. You have to use extra willpower, extra energy that takes away from the rest of your goals that you have, because it's not just about the body, right? We don't want to be one-dimensional bodybuilding bros who are completely mentally retarded, who have nothing going for them in any other area of life. Remember, the physique is not the destination, it's the vehicle. The body is what will get you to your goals. The level of energy you have, the level of self-belief when you look in the mirror. Like I said already, you can look incredible and still feel like a piece of shit if the rest of your habits are not aligned. Because our physique is a vehicle and not the destination, our goal is not to get ripped for summer or for a photo shoot and then go back to the way we were living before. No. Around here, we get ripped and stay ripped as a way to take control of our mind and to be able to influence the rest of our life. Building the physique is a stepping stone. It's the ultimate skill builder for leveling up all other areas, but only if we use it properly, only if it's done in the right way, aligned with the macro timing and the micronutrients to help us feel mentally sharp and on it all day, every day. So if that sounds like a goal you want to work on and you want to speed run the process without wasting years banging your head against the wall trying to figure it out yourself, there's going to be a little link down below. Please only apply if you're serious and you're committed and you're ready to go all in. I don't work with guys who fuck around and like to half-assed have little goals. No. We build an elite physique so that we can build an elite man. Let's go, bro. Hope you have an amazing day.